already this week, so pulling off the sub vest and getting a crack. So thanks for having me on.
Now, I've seen either a tweet or an article about how busy fellow race caller Matt Hill is, going from Adelaide to gather round back here for the Golden Mile, then goes back to Adelaide. But you're not far behind. In fact, I think you're a little bit ahead. Can you tell us what's happening in the next couple of days?
So this week I did Shep Dogs Monday.
Yeah.
Shep Trots Tuesday after working my other job at the hospital in Shepparton.
Yeah.
Worked the hospital Shepparton Wednesday and then got off the bench to call the dogs at the Meadows. Sandown last night. Geelong Cup off the bench to call that one tonight. Tomorrow I'm calling local footy, Golden Valley football at home.
Wow.
Sunday, Bendigo Dogs for the Gold Rush maiden heats, and then Monday we're back at Shepparton again.
No, it's like pathetic effort.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
isn't it?
no,
Hey?
seriously,
Horrible.
lift, Daniel.
Yes.
Lift. Take a
Not
good
doing enough.
Take a good long look at
Don't want to
yourself.
see his tax return, do you? Now, we spoke about, good segue, we spoke about Sandown. Let's go through last night. Let's start there. We don't have to go runner by runner here, obviously, for the runway, but what impressed you most about the first three heats? Was it accredited in the first? That was a good little win, wasn't
It was a really good win. I was most impressed with him. Obviously, the third heat was a little hard to sort of pull any form out of it with only three runners in it, but I thought Accredited was really good, and I thought Nancy DeVere was impressive enough too. So that's not a bad final next week. 25,000 for the winner of that series. So it's still a race worth winning. But yeah, I think the draw certainly helped Accredited last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Nancy DeVere going 5.05 early, Dan, and 29.47, and of course Mylata winning that three-dog war. Too good in the run to the line. First heat, first semi-final of the launching pad, and Jason and I have spoken about this greyhound a number of times, Wyong Dallas. He just seemingly does things right, doesn't he? He's got a good first split. He's certainly not weak to the line. Almost an identical run to his heat win last week, wasn't it, Dan? It was very impressive because it got tight on that first corner.
Yeah, it did. And there was three of them going for sort of one spot, and he didn't get all the favours. He did get a decent bump on that first corner, but managed to ride it, get through it, and then got to the front. And, he was very impressive. And I think he's drawn the pink in the final next week, but I think that might suit him out there. So on what he's shown at the Meadows and at Sandown, he just seems to be the whole package. He's foolproof. He seems to do everything right, and that's what you need.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very good heat. There was three greyhounds who went 5.02, 5.03 and 5.03, so the heat was certainly on. Heat 2, Marrakesh, tradesman-like performance, if you can call a tradesman-like performance for something that went 29.28. But look, there was a couple of big hitters, I suppose, Bebop Jazz in the series. Just didn't get the start right. Sweet Bee's a good beginner. Zipping Sweeney came with big raps from Queensland. But again, Marrakesh off the red, 5.09 early, and was just too good in the run to the line.
Yeah, really impressive. And I liked the run of Kiwi Harry as well. I mean, it didn't jump ridiculously quickly, but really smart, stuck to the rail and was able to follow through that first corner. So they both got through, and I think Marrakesh is certainly going to be really competitive in the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Third heat. I think we're always surprised when a greyhound breaks 29 seconds, aren't we, Dan?
Yep.
Regardless of their ability. And Dashing Sleigh from South Australia did come here with a 29.98 win from Angle Park. And to put that into context, wow, she's fast at her best. I think went 29.95. I think Aston Rupee broke 30 seconds. You could probably name only just a handful of greyhounds who have done that. So for her to do that with the experience she had was special. But last night's run, I mean, Doongala Jessie set a cracking pace, but for her to streak away and win by over 7 lengths, that was incredible.
It was, and it was a bit for me. It was a bit deceptive because it just didn't feel like they were going that ridiculously quick speed. But when the time came up on the board, it was just stunning. And what immediately from not from taking anything away from Dashing Sleigh, my first thoughts were of the run of Gambella in defeat, running third, actually making ground off the winner and the second dog with those times being set. So. Look, it was a cracking semi-final and, a real statement from Dashing Sleigh.
Yeah, and both of these greyhounds draw box 1 and 2 in the final, so they're certainly going to be in contention, especially Doongala Jessie with that early speed. But you're right about Gambella, absolutely cruelled because of the box draw, 5.15 early, and then just got into all sorts of trouble. But she's in the consolation final, and I don't think she's drawn too well in that either. So, but she'll learn, and she's going to be a star going forward. And in the last heat, Elite Intention, who led for a long way in his heat and was run down by Kiwi Harry, said, you know what, that was no fluke, and he's come up and held out a late challenge from Shimmer Stan.
Really good performance. Like to get out from the yellow, it's with such high speed in the race to lead, and then I honestly thought it was going to get gobbled up in the last 20 or 30 metres, but kicked strongly. I think Shimmer Stan's been a real good one in this series as well. Drawn the 8 both heat and the semi, and performed really well. So you probably won't get a bad run for your money in the final next week either with him.
No, and Dan, we looked at the pre-post market before the heats kicked off, and I think Gambella was favourite. I think Tribeca was up there. This is the type of launching pads throw up these type of results, don't they? I mean, I think this year's event had a really good depth to it, but we've seen last year with Cruising Debbie winning at big odds. I think Aston Rupee went through a whole series without winning a race. So I think it's just an unbelievable series. We'll go through the box draw quickly, and I'll get your thoughts on who your early selection is. Doongala Jessie is off box 1. Dashing Slay, of course, breaking 29 seconds off box 2. Valenzuela off the 3. Shimmer Stan off the 4. Kiwi Harry 5. Marrakesh 6. Elite Intention off 7. And Wyong Dallas off box 8. Is that where you're leaning, the pink?
I am leaning to the pink. I think the Elite Intention, who began really well in its heat, might come out pretty quick and probably go to the left, and I just like him out there. He's going to be clear of any early hustle and bustle, and he can really accelerate, and I think he's going to be very hard to beat. But look, the ones down low, they're going to get the advantage of that inside draw. If they do fly the start, they could be off and gone on that first corner. Yeah,
Doongala Jessie, clearly a greyhound that can run 18.60 down the back, and if you're doing that, you're going to be certainly in contention for sure. We just got a text message through. Back Dan's best bet last night was an easy watch as Bagman got the chocolates by almost 10 lengths. Thanks, Dan, and that's from Plums. So Plums...
don't want to know how he got his nickname, but no, we don't need that.
We do not, but... We're going to talk about Bagman because he's always been a talented free-for-all type greyhound, but were you surprised when the clock came up at 28.96?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, but I wasn't surprised by the performance. I thought I did mark him my best of the night because I thought he was perfectly drawn out there in the pink, and I thought he'll show enough speed to sort of push forward. And once he got to the lead on that first corner, he was away and gone, but... I mean, it was a stunning run. Like that split down the back straight was just ridiculous.
To give people a guide, it's probably around a length and a half, 2 lengths behind Fernando Bale's sectional record. I mean, that's what we're talking here. It's elite for Bagman, but Plums is a very happy man, Dan. So
glad to help. It was an easy, and he drifted too. He got right out on the tote as well, so he was a decent price in the end.
Yeah, he was. Look, as I said, he's been a really talented greyhound. The Group 3 Easter gift is on next week as well with this great... Are you calling next week?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's a terrific meeting. We have got the runway. We've got the launching pad consolation. As you said, the prize money attached to these races are fantastic. And, of course, the launching pad final, $150,000 to the winner. So a big Easter Thursday next week at Sandown Park. We've got Horsham in 5 minutes, but we can talk about the Geelong Cup final, which you are calling now.
I am now calling, yes.
So I've looked at this race, Dan. I was interested to hear your view, your point of view here, because I think in these races sometimes you tend to look at the class runner, and especially when they're drawn well, and Vincent Bale is certainly that. The only concern I have is where he's going to sit on this first corner. What are your thoughts on where Vincent Bale's going to land?
I mean, lately he seems to be just magically able to appear in the perfect spot. He doesn't jump absolutely perfectly all the time, and he just, the next thing you know, he's in the getting the gun run, and he can power past them. Look, he's going to need to do everything right here because there's a lot of good ones on his outside. So I think he's certainly the one to beat. But I've got a bit of a liking for Colac Kid. I know he's probably going to have to do everything right.
Yeah. And
what we've seen out of Matlock in recent starts has been, upped with the best of what he's been able to produce. Yeah. But it's just one of those races that it's can't really pinpoint one and say with a great deal of confidence that this is going to win. It's a cracking race.
Yeah, you're right about Matlock. I mean, his first split was far superior than anyone else last week, and he ran 29.59, which is nearly the track record. So a replica of that, and you'd think he's going to be hard to beat. But I always come back to Vincent Bale. I remember your call of him. I think he had box 4 against Kenya All Class a couple of weeks ago, where he magically, when you say magically appeared, I mean, he's got great track sense. He was third down the back and then just blew them away.
Yep.
I mean, he's that type of quality greyhound, but he just wouldn't want to give the likes of Matt Locke and Colac Kid a start. And what worried me was Mapunga Smoky went slightly quicker than him early to the post the first time. So that's my only concern at $2.40. A great little support card here too. We've got the Gary Brett Memorial where we see the two ethanols go around, ethanol volume and ethanol water. Of course, ethanol water, almost $500,000 in prize money. $2.90, perhaps a little bit of a risk from out there?
Yeah, it's not a real good price, just on a form's first class, but she was obviously disappointing there at Wentworth Park last time out. Yeah. But at her best, you'd think that she'd be winning the race. But ethanol volume is just sort of, again, the figure form doesn't probably read as a truer reflection of how it's going. So at their absolute peak, they'd probably run the Quinella 9 times out of 10. But which order is the question mark as well?
That's right. We were speaking off air about a young greyhound who will open the program called Room to Breathe. 2 starts, 2 wins. Won at Horsham in 27 seconds flat and then won the maiden final in 26.96, defeating Irish Bill, by the way, on a night where I think the Horsham Cup final went 26.90 odd. This is a special young dog.
Just those times around Horsham in particular, like it's a really tough 485. It's more probably close to 550, 600 sort of run, because you've got to be so strong with those long straights.
Yeah.
And he just looked amazing. Watched the replay and just thought he was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And I did mark him my best bet of the night on my tip. So there you go, Plums. You can latch into that. But unfortunately, it's
Plums
been
has cashed up.
It's been about $1.80 to $1.50. So there's already been money for it.
My old boss at the AFL Record said you can't go broke making a profit.
True, very true.
Now, I've just got a text coming through before we get to Horsham in a minute. Any idea on the reason for making feature dog races 9 or 10 and not the legs of the quaddie? We're seeing this a little bit more creep into the sport. I don't really mind it too much. I don't want to say that the quaddie is an antiquated type of bet, because people still like taking a quaddie, but I don't mind it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but certainly with the bigger races that we have throughout the course of the year.
Yeah.
And getting people on track.
Yeah, it keeps them there.
It keeps them there.
Yeah.
And that's probably the simplest way of putting it, is that if you have it at race 6 or 7 and the good dogs or the good horses have run, there's a few people that say, well, we've seen that, we'll head off home. If we leave it a little bit late, not the end of the night, but a little bit later, keeps them there for a little bit longer. And I think that's the idea and the premise behind it. And I don't mind it. I don't think it's a bad idea at all.
I hope the Geelong president, Brian Parkinson's, listening and the kegs are full for tonight. There'll be a good crowd out there. We're under 30 seconds away from Horsham.
Got a late scratching, George.
Late scratching.
And Daniel, it is number 4, Built for Glory. The blue dog is out late here.
Can't separate the 2 and the 3 here. Flat Chat, who went very fast at Ballarat more recently, running 21.89, is the favourite. $2.15 for Jed's Memory as they're behind the boxes.
Here's Paddy Doyle.
Terrific, gentlemen. So about to be called forward. Quaddie firstly. Good luck with those. Webcom Marine bring us race 5. Flat Chat 195. Just holding the call. Jed's Memory has been 240 into 225. It's probably been best back because the opening quote of 280 was quickly snapped up this morning. $1 short, 6 out to 7. The others have all been pretty easy. Oh, crikey, if anything, trims up $41 to 34. They've all moved in. Webcom Marine, track being cleared. Vacant in 5. The late one was 4. And there's the green light. We're set to go. Race 5 at Horsham. Set. Ready and racing, and O'Crikey off the inside was away fast, but not as fast as Flat Chat. And Flat Chat took the lead into the first turn, put up 2 lengths, Urana Whirlwind. O'Crikey third, sneaking through on the inside, Jed's Memory. Saves ground the rail, then Dollar Short into the tail end of the field, who's Shrapnel. Headswood turn, Flat Chat is in a different postcode. Led by 3 or 4 lengths to Jed's Memory, trying to pick it up, and then came Dollar Short, but Flat Chat getting a little bit tired late. It's going to be too good for them. Flat Chat won it by 3.5. Jed's Memory second, third placing Dollar Short, and then came Shrapnel, who got going from the back, Urana Whirlwind and O'Crikey in 23.41. 23.41 for number 2, Flat Chat. She holds up well on the tote, 270 and 160. 238 are the numbers. And fourth placing to be semaphore through, but Flat Chat helped the Jed's Memory miss the kick slightly, gave it a clean run to the rail and has been able to power clear. 10.26 early, 13.14 on the way home. It's 2 beating 3, 8 and 6. 2, 3, 8 and 6, the interims confirmed. 23.401 the time. The winning margin was 3.5 by 3.5. 3.5 both ways. 2 Flat Chat brings up win 5 at start number 19.
Number 2, Flat Chat at $2.70 and $1.60. 3, Jed's Memory, $1.04. No third div, number 8, $1 short, and 6, Shrapnel. The Quinella, $1.70. Exacta, $4. Pat's Trifecta, $7. And the first 4, 2, 3, 8 and 6, has paid $13. The running double 3 and 2, $81. Late scratching 4. The sub was number 3, Jed's Memory, and it ran second, George.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, the 2 favourites battling it out there. Wentworth Park. Big night of racing. It just never ends with greyhound racing, but we've got one of the time-honoured races, the one that a lot of people would like to win, the Golden Easter Egg, but also the Group 1 Association Cup. Max Capacity has come up favourite. I'm not sure if you watched this run. His run home was unbelievable last week. And I've just looking up on the tab here, and it's suggesting that Ella's Babe is a scratching. I haven't had a good look at that. Lanfranco is first reserve there. I'll have a look at that. But did you catch any of those heats last week?
I did see them in working at the Meadows last week. So, yeah, that was a really strong performance from Max Capacity. And, certainly if it backs that up, is going to be very hard to beat. And Apilla was very impressive as well. So a couple of really strong runs there. I've got Ella's Babe as a scratching too. So
she's come up as a scratching. So Lanfranco will get in. Obviously, one Ennis dog for another. Lanfranco running third, of course, in his heat. The other one I wanted to mention, and the greyhound with the best PB in the race, is Late Night News, and he's been thereabouts for a little while now, Dan, and he gets his opportunity in a big race. And the great story that Jason elaborated on was with I'm Sally for Rebecca Edinburgh, who got a greyhound who was a giveaway. And has got a PB of 41.84 and goes in as one of the leading chances in Association Cup. We've seen this with Sage Tennille. He didn't, in fact, give her away, Cody Charles, because nobody wanted her. She came out and won a Group 1, but it's incredible that it still happens, doesn't it?
It is, and it just seems to be the way that, some dogs just, they find a place that makes them happy and it makes them run, and it's awesome, and it's great that those stories can keep going in the sport.
Absolutely. But the big race, just before we get to the big race, I did want to mention quickly a young greyhound in the Magic Maiden final called Unleashed Georgia. She ran 29.62 for Peter Lagosioni. I mentioned it on Wednesday's show. He's got a very, very high opinion of this greyhound. Her splits were incredible. She comes in at about $1.18 favourite. So watch out for her if you're watching the Magic Maiden final. That's at 8 p.m. But when I first started in the sport, if you had a greyhound winning $300,000 or $400,000, they were the superstars of the sport, Dan. We now have got to a stage, and I remember watching Rapid Journey win a Melbourne Cup. He got to $530,000. We've now got to a stage where we nearly have $20 million greyhounds.
Yeah.
And we might have another one on Saturday. Good Odds Cobber has come up with box 1 in the Golden Easter Egg final. Can they beat him, Dan?
Look, he's got the draw to really make it hard for the opposition here. And the more I've sort of looked at the race, I think he's going to be very hard to beat. If he gets the start right and he's able to lead through that first corner, it might be just game, set and match. But, Lakeview Emily's been jumping a lot better her last few starts. Yeah. If she gets the start right, I think for her to win, I think she needs to lead and she needs to at least put 4 or 5 lengths on her, because I think she was just getting a little bit weary at the back end of her race last week and got gobbled up. If Good Odds Cobber's able to follow her through that first corner, I think he'll be too strong.
And that's not like her, Dan, is it?
No, it's not.
I really had a deep dive into her split. She went 17.57 down the back, which is pretty much unheard of at Wentworth Park. So Good Odds Cobber and the like are running around the late 17.60. So she's about a length and a half, 2 lengths ahead of them to the back. And I know she still ran 29.44, but she's never been a weak greyhound.
And it just felt weird. It just felt weird that she was beaten. So I think if she does everything that she's done in the first half of the race, and she gets the good fortune that there might be a bit of tightening behind her into that first corner, she might have enough of a margin on them to hold them off. The issue obviously is she's drawn the yellow, so that makes it a little bit sticky for her as well. But I think it's a cracking race. It is such a good field.
It is. I don't mind her from the yellow, Dan. Just because of Jungle Johnny and Power.
Well, he's probably going to come out slow, isn't he?
Yeah. And look, and when we say, Lakeview Umi got a little bit tired, we certainly are not taking anything away from Power and Glory.
No, not at all.
And he beat her fair and square and run 29.23. Again, we discussed it on Wednesday. This could be the changing of the guard if Jungle Johnny were to win the race. I mean, he's probably been one of the more informed greyhounds in the country. He got beaten by Good Odds Cobber. If he was to beat Good Odds Cobber after Good Odds Cobber has drawn the red, it would make a statement.
Oh, absolutely. It's been he's been breathtaking to watch over the last month or so, and even a bit longer. And if he gets the breaks, which he's certainly going to need in this sort of race, but what he's shown is that he's tough, and if he gets in the right spot, he can certainly win it.
We just got another text message through, and you wouldn't believe who sent this text message through.
Can't talk, but can text.
No late scratching tune? Come on, Johnny. Go Swans from one J Adams. What's going on here, John? We can't keep a great man down, can we?
Just stand by or realise.
Are we going to play it for him? Because he won't be able to. There you go.
He'll be happy.
I'm in a foreign studio,
He'll
Jason.
be happy now.
Come on, Jason. You've got to understand. Now, we're going to go to the Meadows with a couple of my tips. And if you've done the form, we'll get a couple of yours as well, Dan, but only if you have. But there's 2 that I like. We're going to kick off with one of my favourite greyhounds, race 5, number 7, Orly Bale. I think he can bounce back to form here, Dan. I'm not sure what your thoughts are. His last win came during the Australian Cup Carnival over 600 metres. But in fairness, since then, he's raced against some very, very good types. I know that box 7 can be problematic for him because he's not electric early, but he does have Who That Shanlin drawn on his inside. And I just got a feeling Orly Bale's found his race here and be hard to beat. I'm also keen on one a little bit later on, race 9, number 2, Tanner Bale, who I think's racing really well. Got enough early speed to get into a really nice position and be hard to beat. They're my 2. Anything you like?
haven't had a good look at it, but just having a look at that Orly Bale race, I think you're exactly right. Looking at the opposition there, it's certainly a step down on what it's been competing against recently, and it might be its race, I think, for sure.
We do have a very good free-for-all too, where we get to see, I think, one of your favourite greyhounds, Hector Fawley, go around as well. He's had the 3 starts back, has not yet to win a race, but hopefully it's not far away. Poor Oswald with some very, very fast greyhound on his night as well. Poor Oswald, a group winner's drawn box 1. Where else? Honey Zen has been fantastic in her last couple of starts. 29.40 at Sandown, but before that, it did break 30 at the Meadows. And you'd expect her to lead, Dan, despite the box draw?
I think she will lead because she's just absolutely on song at the moment. And I tipped her at Sandown last week when she won. I just thought that she was in the zone. And when they get to that, get in the zone, it's hard not to tip against her. Hector's been horribly unlucky his last 2 runs. He's had no luck, but he just needs to, if he gets a touch of luck, you know how good he can be. But honestly, I think Honey Zen's just going extra too well at the moment not to tip her.
Yeah, nice night tomorrow night too, like 28, 29 degrees. I just find when the track's nice and it's balmy, they can really run their hands off the clock and they're hard to run down. Now, about this time, we usually talk about an obscure bet.
Yes, and then your selections.
I'm heading, as I said to you off air, heading over to a wedding for the next couple of days. Then I'm flying to Adelaide to watch the Hawkers play against Port Adelaide. So it's going to be a big weekend. But I just want your thoughts on this obscure bet because it involves your football club, Dan,
yes,
who are going to get out of the crapper this week.
Let's hope.
Now, the obscure bet, Gold Coast Suns to beat North Melbourne. I think we can all agree on that one.
Yes.
I've got Carlton at the line to beat West Coast by over 36.5 points. I think they'll handle West Coast pretty easily.
But by 36?
Yeah. They're up and about. They'll be up and about. They'll win that. Okay. West Coast.
If they don't, they're in a lot of trouble.
So if they just get over the line against West Coast, watch out.
6
and
goals.
the last one, which you might not agree with, Dan, but I think Melbourne can beat Essendon. They're $1.96. Again, I know not everything's spoken about in the media, but they've copped it. I think their midfield will get over the top of Essendon's with a few outs for Essendon, and I think they'll get the job done.
As I said to you before, I treat Melbourne like I treat my racing form. I look at it from a form perspective. You look at their first start against GWS, they look good, probably should have won, bit disappointing. Second up, no good against the Roos. It was a horrible forgive run last week. Third up against Geelong, they look better.
Weren't you like a couple of goals down in the third quarter?
They just look a lot better, and I'm thinking, I agree with you. I think might be the chance for them to actually win a game, and I think Essendon's a team that they generally play well against. So I'm hoping, and they play well in Adelaide too, and I know they're not playing an Adelaide side, but they do play Adelaide Oval pretty well. So hopefully you're right there on that selection.
Neutral ground.
Well, with the boost, we're getting nearly $5. So Plums, if you're listening, Plums. Get on board. We'll talk a little bit about because you watched the game yesterday. For me, that was the best performance for a team this year. Geelong.
I thought it was a great game.
And you made the points. Away from home, feral crowd, nearly 6 goals down.
Good deck, high-scoring game.
Under the
everything
pump.
you want.
And that last quarter, they were dominant. They could have won by even further.
Yeah, no.
And again, it comes back to my point.
That puts Geelong right back in reckoning for the whole lot for me.
And I think I said to you, were they ever out? I think the media jump on teams when they lose early games.
Yeah.
And it's a long season. And
Well, they jumped on Collingwood after the first game, and look what they've been able to do.
Everyone was cramping up.
Easy. I can turn that microphone off, Hibbert. I'm in control here.
Yeah, you're up against...
Go the Pies.
So
Go the Pies.
Who's Jason Adams going to barrack for? We disclosed last week that he's a Collingwood member.
Yeah, I know.
His lovely partner. Did you hear this, Daniel?
Yes.
His lovely partner has arranged him a membership at Collingwood, but he's a Swan supporter right back to his dad's years when they were the Bloods, the South Melbourne boys. So he's got South in his veins. And he's a card-carrying member of Collingwood.
So I'll be hoping for a draw or something.
He'll be hiding under the couch tonight. He'll be scared.
There's been a memo come across my desk that his dad's more upset than he's let on as well.
He'll be scared to go.
So
He'll be
Steve,
scared to come out of the couch tonight.
We feel for you. We know your son's let you down, so hopefully he can do the right thing. So I hope the Swans get up for him. So, guys,
Daniel, you've done a great job today.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic, mate.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, John.
Pleasure.
Horsham in about a minute.
Yeah, let's get out. Out on the pink wing is the favourite for Heather Baxter at $1.60, and the second line of betting is $5. So it's a clear-cut favourite.
Beautiful. You have a good weekend.
Thank
Dan, you have a good weekend as well.
I shall.
You're going to have a busy one.
I have a very busy weekend.
I'm going to go and cook a charcoal spit for 50 poms right now.
Well, I thought you were going to say 50 hours.
I've got not only calling footy tomorrow, I'm going to the presentation night of the Shep Greyhounds tomorrow night. They've got Damien Oliver as a guest speaker, so it's going to be a really good
He'll be
night
great,
as well.
Ollie.
It will be a really good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think we're done. Do you need me to waffle on for a bit?
No. I've got Patrick Hibbert.
That's my son.
Patrick Doyle ready to go.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Good on you guys.
It's a 13.